lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Racers Elite Superspeedway series here for the Season 2 opener on SRM Sim Racing Media. I'm Jordan Brockel, and joining me tonight is none other than Alan Bergen, once again side by side in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. And Alan, we're in for a treat here tonight as we're going to see these guys go 2 wide, 3 wide, maybe even see somebody try to push a 4 wide. It is Talladega, so it is quote unquote possible. But it's, not something we recommend.
No, it's not what we recommend. How you doing, Jordan? It's a great night to be here, and I'm excited to be here with you here at the Superspeedway series. Shane is usually will be your partner on more Friday nights than I will, but hey, nonetheless, we're getting cranked up to crazy here. These guys are getting into the race trucks and getting ready to go 75 laps here at the world famous Talladega Superspeedway. And Jordan, it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's going to be kind of crazy here because they're also going to be on a track that is about 121 degrees. So it's going to be slick, so they're going to have to pay attention as those fuel loads get lighter in the rear end. So because it's going to become lighter there in the back. And you know, it's going to be one of those scary things that, you know, you go into a corner and move the wheel just a bit too much. And, you know, you kind of get, you know, weightless in the rear end. And we've seen time and time again, as soon as that happens, it's the big one. The big one immediately arrives.
Yeah, the big one. Look, there's no such thing as one, but nonetheless, 19 trucks signed into the pit area tonight, and 19 trucks are gritting. So, you know, it's just craziness. But hey, what a way to spend a Friday.
Absolutely. I mean, nothing better than super speedway racing, in my opinion, because it's the racing that anyone can do. You know, it doesn't. You know, it takes a skill. Don't get that any other way. It does take a skill, but anyone can hop in and at least learn how to run super speedway. You don't really have to have a fancy setup. You don't have to be the best driver in the world. You know, that's what we see in the real world, where, you know, those back markers and guys who don't really run really well at the intermediate and short tracks, you know, they have a chance every time they show up to Talladega or Daytona and now Atlanta. They have that chance to possibly pull off a win. And, you know, especially a place like Talladega, it's interesting because, you know, our start finish line is not in the traditional spot in the middle of the trioval. It's all the way headed into turn 1, and it's going to be interesting to see as these guys roll towards that start zone. Going to be waiting for that green flag. It's in the air, it's not waving just yet, and there it goes, waving green flag here at Talladega for the Racers Elite Super Speedway Series.
Yes, these guys head down into turn number 1. You know, these guys are going to be cranked up to crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, you're going to see these guys all close together for the majority of this race. You're going to see possibly some of these break up into smaller packs, but, you know, that's all going to be based on pit strategies and you know, who's working with who, and, you know, just a slight bit of, you know, losing the draft just because you get a little loose. So, for the most part, as we see Matt Mettler, I believe that's Matt Mettler, up on the high side here. We'll look at that in just a moment. It is not. I called the wrong truck here. It looks like it's the Jim Beam machine of Greg McConey flying up to the high side and side by side with our race leader, backing off just about to second place right now with Brandon Honeycutt giving him a shove. And, you know, that's what we're going to see all night long, is people jump to that outside line and make the trek all the way forward. And, you know, then they're going to be kind of side by side for the remainder of that run. As you see up top now, the 14 of Lee Campbell in the Smucker's Jelly car out wide with Chris Blasi giving the push.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys are 3 and 4, even, well, just 3 wide right now. There you have it. It's for Greg McConey, and even Blake Hensley is running in that second position.
Yeah, Matt Mettler actually just set fast time down there, and that's what's one of those things we're going to see is, you know, people get those big runs and pull that massive toe, and they're able to carry that momentum around the truck in front of them. But as soon as they step out, if they're by themselves, they're just going to, you know, kind of be stuck in no man's land for a while.
Absolutely. Yeah, they come down that back straightaway, though.
Yeah, the biggest thing tonight is going to be who's the best side drafter. You know, with the new model and everything that's been updated on these trucks, the side draft has really come into effect. I mean, it was already in effect beforehand, but it's really started to show up in recent, you know, races that I've seen, you know, even across the Xfinity and the next gen car. Side draft is a major key to getting to and staying in the front.
Absolutely, you said it best.
Oh, and Honeycutt gets a little loose and sends the 31 below the yellow line. Somehow we stay off straight and no caution. Honestly, I thought that was going to be the big one that was going to wipe out at least half the field here.
Yeah, that was that could happen at any moment, but Greg McConey still out front leading this piece, and well, here we are.
Yeah, so Greg McConey finds the front, and I mean, gets there with the help of Brandon Honeycutt, but Brandon Honeycutt looked to try to go around him, and then that's when everything started to kind of shift and jumble around. Most people have decided to tuck in to that bottom row.
Absolutely, here as we are working lap number 4 out of the 75 to be ran here tonight, and well, we're having some kind of fun here. We're on the north side of crazy, as Dave Regal would say.
Yeah, and it's only going to get crazier as we go. Because, you know, these guys are going to get closer and closer to the, you know, when we're going to need to make some stops. So they're going to be really trying to fight for some, you know, track position, getting with the people that they want to work with. So we're going to see a lot of shifting as we get deeper into this run.
Yeah, right now, Greg McConey, like I said, continues to lead. These guys are being patient and mindful of their surroundings.
Yeah, and I mean, you see now they've already found themselves too wide once again.
Absolutely. I mean,
And I mean, that's going to be the theme of the night as we run.
yeah, and yeah, you're not wrong there.
So still keeping our eye here on the front with Greg McConey. And, you know, thankfully, I mean, we can see the whole field tonight. But as this thing gets spaced out, we're going to see, you know, see things start to change. And it's going to get a little hectic to know who's where. And, I mean, it's it's one of those things where you just got to kind of hope and pray that you end up on that right strategy. And again, I always say it every week, you don't know the winning strategy until you win. So I mean, it could be the better strategy, but certainly you don't know it's the winning one until you cross for that checkered flag in that first place position.
I mean, it's true.
Take a little bit of a peek a little bit further back. It looks like the 01 of Sean Dunaway has been inside, outside, and finding a different lane to move himself up to the front. Already up to 11th. He's still 2 spots below where he started. Looks like the 16 machine of Trevor McGee on the outside line. And honestly, that's the first time I've ever seen a Swedish fish truck. I've got to say, that makes one sweet paint scheme there.
Oh, the Swedish fish, dude! I used to eat the bejeebus out of the Swedish fish.
No, Swedish fish is hands down one of my favorite candies.
I mean, you're not wrong.
We're working lap number 8, going to lap, we've completed 8. We're working lap number 9. Gonna start working lap 10 here, and you know it's crazy to think, you know, 75 laps does not sound like a long race whatsoever. But when you take into perspective that this track is over 2.5, I believe it's officially 2.66 miles of asphalt. It takes a long time to get around that just once, let alone 75 times.
A long time.
And that's where, races like this, it's not really about how good you. Oh, big slide there and big shuffle by Honeycutt. He somehow saves it once again. But, I mean, to what I was saying is, it doesn't take a ton of physical ability. It takes more mental ability to just make yourself hang on and, not overthink things and not make sudden movements and, be able to stay focused. Because I don't know about you, but if I'm doing this for 75, I mean, I've done it for 200 and, different special events around Daytona and stuff. Once you start getting to that, 75, 80 to halfway mark, it's almost like you start doing that, going down the backstretch. Here we go. Oh! Looks like Colin McDonough, one of our own, just new here at SRM, decided to put it on its roof here early. And that wasn't pretty.
You're not supposed to do that.
That's not that Colin. You're supposed to stay right side up. And just right there, just immediately, I mean, it came back down. He didn't do a full flip, but that's not fun.
You're not supposed to do that, though.
Yeah, well, here we go. Right in the wall, and he's just staring right at the asphalt, and you can hear that engine expire immediately there.
I mean, at least they got a fast repair.
And that, I just said that Swedish Fish truck is one of the most beautiful, and he noses into the wall too. So I mean, I can't really say who wasn't in this. I mean, you got Trevor McGee, Colin McDonough. I want to say Chris got through it, and the 72 machine of Hugh Escobar, he was in it. Greg seems to be fine. I know Brandon Honeycutt, he's going to have a little bit from that. Looks like possibly Kirby Wainscott has some damage too. He's missing a fender. So, some hurt rides here early. Just 12 laps into this thing, and it's going to be a lengthy stop for some of these guys. They don't necessarily want to burn that fast repair early if they don't have to, and, get everything fixed relatively quickly. But while these guys go ahead and do their pit stops, keep an eye on it for just a moment, and then we'll step away for a quick moment just to see who we can see get off of pit road here first. Looks like it's going to be Blake Hensley, followed by Chase Greer. We'll see Edward Sexton race off, Sean Dunaway, Lee Campbell. That's going to be your top 5 when we come back and get ready to go green flag racing. I'm Jordan Brackel. He's Alan Bergen. This is the Racers Elite Super Speedway Series here on Sim Racing Media. Back here for the Racers Elite Super Speedway Series. About to go green here as the pace car takes a hard left turn and gets ready to let these guys roll all the way through the tri-oval to get to that restart zone that feels like forever away. I'm going to see Barney have that flag in hand, waiting to set these guys free. You know, Barney does not get enough credit, always works overtime, but certainly going to be an amazing green flag wavers. We've already got somebody spinning around in the background there.
You can't do that. You gotta go.
And I don't know what happened there. Take a peek here. Oh, he gets a shove by, looks like Matt Metler. He gets a shove by Matt Metler. And I guess he just was not ready for it. But otherwise, we are still green and still running here.
Yeah, one caution for cause out of, 15 laps. And, well, I mean, we're cranked up to crazy, really. As these guys are going 3 wide here in the front, it looks like we got Hensley there running in that top spot there in the 31 truck.
Yeah, and Lee Campbell fighting on the outside. It's kind of funny because I always feel like when we're here at, places like Talladega and Daytona, it's almost like we have 2 leaders. The leader on the outside line and the leader on the inside line. And, yes, on the pylon, Hensley is in first, but, I mean, Lee Campbell's in first on his line, so we see it shift so often that it's almost like there's 2 different races running within the race itself.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly, it's Blake Hensley there in the 31 truck that's leading this race, essentially. But, 75 laps, I would equate that to like 100 laps here at a place like Talladega because the track is so big.
Yeah, and it seems to drag on as it looks like Kirby Wainscott dives to the outside, or, jumps off to the apron here and doesn't seem to have a way back on just yet. He's going to have to force his way up there. He gets on there easy and avoids any kind of calamity there, but it's not where you want to be when you're headed towards that corner, is trying to make it back onto the racing surface from the apron and hit that little bit of a switch to the banking. Yeah, Hugh Escobar looks like he tries to make a move and he's going to get hooked. And honestly, I can't say anything there for Hensley because, I mean, Hugh Escobar tried to put his truck somewhere that it didn't belong. That spot was not open at all, and now Hugh Escobar is going to have to pay the price for that one.
Yikes. But nonetheless, Lee gives the lead to Greg McConey there in that 12 truck, that F-150 out to the front. And here we go. Oh, he's going to go all the way to the inside line. Greg McConey going all the way to the inside line, and now the teammates are working together here as they are coming through that tri-oval.
Yeah, and it's crazy how fast everything can change here at Talladega. We had people like Hugh Escobar, who was up there running, and he has that incident where he gets hooked off the nose of Hensley there, and now finds himself way out back on his own, waiting and hoping that Chris Melton and Stephen Hines can get to him and work with him to keep him on the lead lap.
Absolutely, and well, wanted to give a special birthday shout out to none other than the big dog Shane Lake. He's celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, and Shane, and hope you're having fun. Not as much fun as I'm having, but
Let's see if we can go back here and see if this is where Hugh gets hooked. You can see he tries to go to the inside here, not able to get there, and I mean it's just, oh, I did not know he blew over either. Whew. That was a lot more exciting than I thought it was going to be. That looked like
that was a little too exciting.
Yeah, I thought he just spun out into the to that inside there, and it was all good and well. And here he almost had a fun ride like it's 1987 in a Monte Carlo.
Man.
Nonetheless, I mean, it could be so much worse for him, but that's about as close as you can get to having a terrible day without having a terrible day.
I got nothing for that one, and you're absolutely correct. And, well, you know, also want to give thoughts and prayers to the people down in Florida dealing with the hurricane.
Yeah, certainly want to, say our prayers and everything for those people down there in Florida. And, I mean, it's not just Florida. I've seen things about houses getting swept away in North Carolina as well. And it's not fun. It's not pretty. And, hope everyone is okay and, makes it through this and bounces back.
Exactly. And, well, our good buddy Troy Thomas, he's dealing with those in Troy, without power.
Yeah, no, and I mean, Lee Campbell gets a little loose there. Sorry to cut that off, but no, I know exactly what those guys are going through. It's happened to me, and I can tell you, it's the most terrifying thing I've ever had to go through. I mean, it still haunts me. 20 years later, it's been 20 years since we lost our house in the hurricane. My entire basement was full of water up into the living room, and the house that we had only had 2 steps. So it was the living room, 1 step, and then the top step was the start of the upstairs. So it was like not really a upstairs, but it was still kind of an upstairs, because you had to go up 1 stair. But no, water had risen in the living room up until that top step. So we had about 2 or 3 feet of water in our living room, not counting the water that was in our basement and out our front yard. I had to be carried out of my home. So, I mean, I know exactly what those guys are going through. And my mom, she's about 5'5", 5'6", 5'7", somewhere in that range. And the water was up to just about her neck in our front yard. So I know exactly what these guys feel, and want to send my prayers and wishes to everyone that's being affected by this right now.
Yeah, definitely. Just, I mean, it's a tough situation to deal with, but we're seeing the camaraderie, and it looks like Matt Mettler has his electric back on already as he's running 12.
Yeah. Mettler would find a way to keep electricity to him, even if he had to go and find a power line itself and just duct tape it to his home power. He would not miss racing or broadcasting for anything. I know that man. He'd have the zip ties and the duct tape out, and dang near shocking himself like the dude from Home Alone.
Oh no! Oh no!
I mean, I could see Matt Bettler just be like, I got it.
Oh, nonetheless, here Greg McConey continues the lead over Lee Campbell, and these guys are swapping lead. Like, I don't know, I got nothing for that one.
Yeah, and it looked like Rowan Lloyd and Campbell wanted to try to get up there to that third line and kind of try to block them from making a move, but they're moving with just enough headway as this second and first line. And honestly, I mean, these guys are running really good as of right now. Knock on wood. I'll knock on my desk for everyone. In a 3-wide situation, as we see, I don't know who that is, the 44, I believe, or the 34. Get a better look at who it was here in a second. The 33 hit the apron and almost looked like he was going to send it around.
Well, you're not supposed to go the other way.
You do the loop-de-loop and pull, and your shoes are looking cool. I'm going to take a peek here at Greg McConey, and look at that body armor car, or truck. The blacked out grill and everything. That's a sharp looking truck. And then right behind him, I still cannot get over this Swedish Fish truck. Oh! Oh! Big shake there by the 38 machine of Edward Sexton. It got very hairy there for a second. But nonetheless, they keep it straight and keep going. And I mean, that had the makings of a big one there as well.
Oh, absolutely. Here comes Greg McConey, and he's got that number 16 truck. I mean, Swedish Fish. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, a Swedish Fish is like my kryptonite. Like, I will do anything to just eat an entire bag of Swedish Fish. If I was doing like a calorie counter, I would skip every meal just to eat an entire bag of Swedish Fish. And I'm not talking about just one of those, regular snack bags. I'm talking one of those big bags that are supposed to be like Ziploc sealed and everything. Once you open them, I'm eating that.
Oh, goodness gracious. There's a place down here. We're watching the 16th truck. Oh, we are under our second caution of the evening. And lap 29.
It looks like it was Joel Brooks. Take a peek back here. See what we... Oh! And they're... Almost a bad one there. And I mean, you know what they say. Race car spelled backwards is race car, and race car upside down is expensive.
It is. You're not wrong there. Don't forget tomorrow night, tune in as we continue through. Help me make sense of this. So this is season 2, and we continue on with season 1 tomorrow.
Yeah, it's not really... I don't know what it is, but it's one of those things where I watch and listen and do my job as a broadcaster. So I wanted to give here, and it's just going to be a little bit more simple, just to go ahead and back up right where we were. And it looks like here, Hensley gets a run, and then he sees the 33 out wide, so he tries to make it 3 wide, and Hensley just doesn't really know he's there. And he goes for a ride. Now here's gonna be a fun one for you, Alan.
And
that's one of those that it'll give you a little bit of a headache watching that.
I mean, if anybody knows the number of a good chiropractor.
Certainly. In with the gyro, we can see the gyro go crazy here. Man.
I mean, what would that feel like? like if he's on a motion rig.
Yeah, I feel like it would almost throw you to the side. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it would almost fling you out of your seat, in a way.
I mean, I could see that.
Take one more look here at this flying Hendrick Cars number 33 truck, and that's just. I'm glad that it's a simulator and we're not actually in these vehicles, because the amount of times that I would have been upside down and wrecked is more than I would like to count. So I probably at this point would have probably been fired from every racing job that I have.
I wouldn't say every racing job.
Well, broadcasting doesn't count.
I let you drive my car, my virtual car.
I mean, don't tempt me with a good time there. I'll come and get in that car right now. And the thing is, it's like I don't know. Okay, I can't say I don't know anything about dirt racing, but I certainly am not a dirt racer. But I mean, I played World of Outlaws.
I mean, it counts ish.
And I mean, I did 305 sprints on this, this simulator. So I mean, I've got dirt knowledge.
I mean, I've gone straight to the 410s on the sprint car world.
You went to the 410s right off rip.
Yep. I'll
Honestly,
go big or go home. Now, can I keep it under me? Not really.
Oh, are you not talking about 410s in real life?
No. I'm talking about 410s on the sim.
I was about to say, I thought you just hopped in a 410 and said, "See ya."
No.
I was about to say,
I don't have the budget for that.
Well, I mean, I didn't know, but I was just like, this man just said, screw it. Screw 305 and 360. I'm just going to go right for 410.
But as far as the sim world goes, yeah, 410, skip to 305, skip to 360.
Honestly, the only thing that I've done is the 305s. Because it's fixed and it's fun. It's not a ton of power, it's just enough.
Not super explosive.
Yeah, and I mean, me in a late model, though, that is not pretty by any means. I mean, it's not pretty for me to be on asphalt in general. So, so me in a something on dirt where I have less traction is not as simple for me.
All you gotta do is find the grip, move around.
Oh, 100%. I'm just, if I have to be a bottom feeder, I can't do it. I cannot be a bottom feeder.
Well, I will say this right now, Jordan, as we get ready to come back to the ring. I will be making my return to the Racing Elite Truck Series when we go to Eldora.
You know, I wish there was a way that I could call it and race it at the same time. As we're green here from Talladega. Trevor McGee gets a good jump and a good launch with Chris Blasi right behind him. It's almost like they caught Kirby and Ed Sexton sleeping almost, as the 95 and the 14 could have both fit, but the 95 decides to hang out outside.
Yeah, here we go. Down that back straightaway, here comes that number 16 car. Lee Campbell on the outside. Here comes Colonel Kirby Wainscott in that number 10 finger looking good Toyota. Oh boy. These guys getting cranked up to crazy. Chris Blasey gonna go to the outside.
It's one of those things. It's like, guys, come on. We're still not, we're just around halfway here. So it's one of those. I mean, we're not quite. We're about 5 laps short.
I think you're all tires here at this racetrack. Not when you come down pit road under green, you take tires only, and then you go. You take tires on the caution stops.
Yeah, I mean, I would be thinking just fuel run, fuel run, fuel run, and that would be it.
I mean, you're not wrong. As Lee Campbell takes the lead there, and Greer is right behind him, and then that number 95 truck, here comes Sexton pushing Greer for all it's worth.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what it's going to take to get to the front. But the thing is, oh, 95 gets hooked by Edward Sexton. Looks like Hensley gets a piece of it there as well. And looks like Hugh Escobar is in it. Says Kirby Wainscott crashed as well. So I want to take a look at him, see what happened to him. Oh, he gets shoved, and we've seen almost 3 blowovers here in just a short bit of time.
Think of a high wind warning.
I wanted to get a different view of that, but that did not work. There we go. Ugh. That almost, if he would have flipped over, it would have looked like Josh Berry. Was that Daytona, where he was upside down and smacked the wall?
I think so.
And then we'll get a peek here at Chase Greer. Just nowhere really for him to, fit back in. As he got offline, Edward Sexton moved into just under him, and then gets hooked to the outside wall, and everyone else just kind of gets shoved around. I did see also here, it says Joel Brooks crashed, but I wonder if he just came to a complete stop. Not sure what happened with that, but
Well, that's caution number 3 for the night.
yeah, caution number 3. Andrew Teft finds himself still on the racing surface with Sean Dunaway and Stephen Hines joining him on that. And if we get enough cautions, he might not even have to worry about coming back down at any time and getting fuel. I mean, he is the master at saving fuel.
He is, and well, don't count him out.
Certainly not. Anytime Andrew Teft is in the field, I do not count him out whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely do not count. Yeah, no.
And it's one of those things is, we're working lap 37 under caution, and we're only going to get a little bit more chaotic. So we're sitting around You know, with 75 being an odd number, there isn't really a whole number that is halfway. So, you know, once we cross and finish lap 37, we are basically in that little vicinity of halfway. And we still have another half of this race to go. And we've had 3 cautions, and, you know, the intensity is going to pick up. You know, the anxiousness and the drive to be at the front is going to pick up. So we're going to see things happen more frequently, and I certainly don't think we get through to the finish without a green-white checkered.
Yeah, you're right.
I think one of the big things that's going to be very key is to find those teammates, to find that help. You know, we saw where Stuart Haas basically took over one of the restrictor plate races, and you know, they were 1, 2, 3, 4 the entire race, had the inside line locked up, and you could not get around them. They had it locked down, and it was their line. That's what you need to find, is those teammates, those buddies, those friends, and have a plan. You know, work together. Be 1, 2, 3, and then fight it out down the front stretch when it comes time to it.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely not wrong there.
So we're just gonna go into turn 3 and 4 here, and you know, as I always feel as I move towards getting to that restart, my brain is just like locked in on the bumper of the guy in front of me, and I'm waiting for him to make any kind of twitch or movement and try to be as tight as possible up to him, especially here at a Superspeedway, so that I can give the best push and keep myself in a position to where I can advance and move forward. So we're going to see that pace car turn off. We've got a couple of stragglers in the back there, just kind of hanging out, waiting for this to go green. So we're going to see those guys come around, enter the frame there. Barney, green flag in hand once again. Andrew Teff with the control. He's going to fire off, and Barney's going to wave that flag. We're green again here in Talladega. And we've got about what? My math is not... My Kentucky math is what I think someone called it one time. We've got about 34 laps to go, 36 laps to go.
We could say that again.
I'll wait till it's a whole number, and then I'll know exactly what I need to say. So when we hit lap 40, and complete lap 40, I'll know that we have 35 laps to go. So my first guess was way off. I mean, that's probably why I'm not a mathematician. Not a math numbers guy.
I'm not by any stretch of the imagination.
Look, I'm lucky if I can spell things correctly. I mean, autocorrect on my phone has been one of the biggest godsends there is. And, you know, I still struggle with the there, and theirs. The only one I know to get right is the they are one. Otherwise, I don't really know anymore.
I don't know anymore either.
But what I do know is that Andrew Teft is controlling this race right now and in a good position. And, you know, I wonder if we, you know, with his mindset and how he's always in that save, save, save mood. Does he, try to let somebody in front of him, like Sean Dunaway up front, and, give himself that ability to conserve fuel? I mean, we do have 35 laps to go to the end here, so I do think we're going to see one more stop. And, Andrew Tuff took the good idea of staying out. He was down lap 30. Everybody else came down around lap 36 during that caution. So he played the track position game. And, now if we get a caution here within that window of being good to the end, he's going to be sitting very pretty and sitting right up front for the rest of this thing, as long as he can hang on and not get shuffled out.
Well, right now, Andrew Tuff is looking high, wide, and Hanson. Here comes Steven Hines in that number 2 truck, and he's bringing the 13 truck of Brandon Honeycutt right along with him.
And Honeycutt's one of those guys that's not afraid to absolutely just send it. If he sees any way, shape, or form that he can get through, he's going to find it, and he's going to get through to it. Oh, looks like the number 2 didn't back off of Teff there enough. Engine expires. Let's see if we can go on board with him and see that thing expire. Yeah, just blew up.
Well, at this point, he's running.
Yeah. And then it just kind of kicks off there for a minute. He loses power, and then it just full detonation there. That's gonna end his day quick. And the good thing for him, though, is he was in a position where he could coast to pit road, and he's going to use that fast repair, get that thing fixed, and send himself back out there. But he's going to be praying for a caution here.
Good luck.
And I mean, he very well could get it. I mean, at this point, he's still on the lead lap right now. He's going to have Kirby Wainscott, who's just kind of hanging out on his own. Steven Hines still on the out, so he's going to be the first car a lap down right now. And he's going to be on the pack. So he's not going to have to worry about trying to get to and pass Kirby Wainscott.
That's true.
So as long as he can hang on to this pack here, although I don't think he is going to, I think the timing was just off for him, so he is going to certainly lose this draft, which is unfortunate because, I mean, once you lose that draft, you fall like a rock. I mean, he's sitting here, he's doing about 170 or 187 miles an hour right now as we speak, while the leaders are doing around 190. So, I mean, he's starting to sniff that draft a little bit. He's up to 190 here. So he might be able, as long as he can keep that thing smooth and running right, he might be able to tag along here, but it's gonna take a good bit of help. But you could definitely see him tracking him down just enough. We'll keep an eye on
the win.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that for sure, and see how it goes. But certainly not a position you want to be in.
No, not at all.
And someone who's benefited from these cautions, and I want to point it out, is Colin McDonough, who, had his engine expire there on that first caution, came down, got that fast repair, used it, was a lap down, and now he finds himself sitting here right now in 6th place. So, knock on wood, he's found his way back into the picture, and that's what's great about having at least one fast repair, in my opinion, for leagues in general. It just, you're not done immediately.
Yeah, your day doesn't end as soon as it gets started.
And actually, McDonough jumps up. He's going to start working on that second line, see if he can get those guys to go with him. Andrew Teff still holds the point with Brandon Honeycutt and Trevor McGee in tow. Chris Blasi, Sean Dunaway, and the 95 of Chase Greer all in that line with him. Then you got McDonough, Hensley, Campbell, Melton. I'm trying to see who else is right back there. Looks like the 78 of Richard Odie. And then the final man in that line actually joins the bottom with Joel Brooks, is our first man a lap down, Stephen Hines.
Well, there's the...
And see, this is where it's going to get dicey for Hines now, is he's going to want to get by and stay around Edward Sexton and basically roadblock him from getting a lucky dog if we were to have some sort of incident.
Yeah, and so far, that's not going to happen. Or it's not going to appear that way.
Yeah, so, I mean, like right now as we sit, he sits in front of Edward Sexton, who doesn't seem to have the horsepower to stick with these guys. Kind of the same situation that Stephen Hines had, where everybody flew by him. But, you know, now he's working on getting back to them. So he's going to get a little bit of a touch here. He's sitting around 185, 186. Colin McDonough way up on the high side by himself. Everybody's shuffling a good bit right now, and it's getting a little anxious watching them kind of bob and weave line to line here. Oh, Honeycutt on that apron there. Do not want to touch that line. That line is treacherous.
That line is very treacherous.
Honeycutt all over the back of Andrew Teft right now, giving a massive push. And I mean, I wonder how long these things can push like that, because I mean, we saw Hines, he was on the back end of Teft for a while, and you know, then just lost the motor.
Yeah, you gotta be able to get out of line and cool that thing off every once in a while.
Yeah, even if you just peek out half that grill and, you know, kind of get that air in there, that's all you really need. It's just you have to be careful that you don't do that while pushing. Oh, McGee gets a little squirrely there. You don't want to kind of have that incident where, you know, you kind of give a push as you try to step out. Because then, you know, if you hit them in a certain spot on the rear bumper, it's going to send them whichever way. So if you hit them in the left, it's going to go right. And if you hit them in the right, it's going to send it off left. So got to, you know, pick and choose when to lay off and how to lay off and what you're doing.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct on that one.
I mean, and a lot of the times it's more of when, not necessarily the lead truck, but it's when someone pushes you as you're trying to step out off of the bumper. They give you a shot, and then that's when you get, you know, catapulted into that truck in front of you. So, I mean, as the leader, you're kind of at the mercy of everyone behind you.
I mean, you're not wrong.
As we see, it looks like Matt Mettler is the next guy that's going to get caught here momentarily, as we're 3 wide now. They're going to have to situate that before they get to the 311 of Matt Mettler, because that's not going to work. You do not want to go 4 wide here.
You barely want to go 2 wide.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, 3 wide, you're pushing it. As Matt dives to the apron, so he's going to go ahead and say, "Go ahead, boys, have at it. I don't need to be here." He's going to tag along on the bottom side there, and now he's going to give a little bit of a fight there to Stephen Hines for a possible lucky dog if we were to get one.
A lot could definitely happen.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not over until it's over, and you know at a place like Talladega, you could think it's over 7 times, and you still have to come back and do another green white checkered. You know, it's not like a track where a guy can get a 20 to 30-second lead and lap half the field. It's not that simple. You know, you don't have a massive lead. Your lead is less than a tenth of a second at most times in this race.
Yeah, exactly. And here we are, 22 left to go. Bruce Melton leads Blake Hensley and Trevor McGee.
Yeah, and I mean at this point, we're going to see these guys really start getting antsy as they all try to get themselves in that lucky spot that's going to be the winning spot. It's almost like playing the lottery. You try to mix and match where you want to be, and you just have to hope that your number is the one that's called to get through and win. I mean, I've seen it as far as, the first place guy hangs on, no problem, wins the race. Second place, gets a slingshot, goes around. Third watches those guys get together and he flies by. But I've even seen where 8th or 9th place, the top 5 or the top 2 get into it, and then they drag all the people behind them, and the guy that was sitting 5 seconds off the pack squeaks by and pulls off the win. So really any spot here in this top 14 right now, they're all, or top 12, my apologies, Rowan Lloyd and Greg McConey are not a part of the field, this big pack right now. But anybody in this top 12 right now could easily be the winner from their position.
Yeah, here we go. Blake Hensley up there in the point, and then now these guys are 2x2 inside outside. We have 20 laps to go here at Talladega.
Yeah, and it's going to feel like an eternity. I mean, that's still, I mean, not counting the half mile, that's still at least over 40 miles of racing. And if you think about it, you look at most places you go, if they're like 30, 40 miles away, it's usually about an hour drive. So, I mean, we're not quite in that because we're going 187 miles an hour, 190 miles an hour. But we're still far from done with this. I mean, you're looking at, 33 machine gets squirrely, dives through some people and keeps it straight. But, we're going, about 50 seconds a lap. So you're looking at still relatively around 20 minutes of racing, which a lot can happen in 20 minutes.
A lot can happen, for sure. But here comes Andrew Tuft and Brandon Honeycutt going after that lead as Colin McDonough is going to come on the outside.
Yeah, we saw them kind of single file out pretty good here. And I'm almost wondering if maybe some of these guys are going to have to come down pit road. I mean, they haven't been down since lap 36. So, and just as I say that, we're going to see this big field come on down. And the price is right for someone here as the 31 Hensley gets a big slide.
You can't park there.
You can't park there. But I wonder, I mean, does that still count as an unsafe pit entry?
Yep.
But,
as long as you didn't do it in the sectors.
But, I mean, you're going to see that. Trevor McGee's going to take over the lead for the moment. Colin McDonough is going to be stuck out on that outside. And I would almost bet the farm that we'll see these guys all come down here now, too, as Lee Campbell gets a little bit shuffled out. Does get back into that third place position. But I'd imagine these guys wouldn't be too far off We
Trevor
see
McGee.
most of that field. Oh, Colin McDonough gets stuck out by himself. We see that Trevor gets loose. The 11 of Blasi gets turned by the 78 of Odie. And now McGee is going to have a penalty for an unsafe pit exit with crossing over that yellow line. So a lot just happened right there. And I mean a lot. I mean, that's going to hand... I mean, Rowan Lloyd and Greg McConey are going to be out by themselves still. McDonough has Matt Metler with him, so he's not alone, but he has help. But is it going to be enough to hold off the likes of Honeycutt, Greer, Taft, Dunaway, and Hensley, all in this big group? And now this group of Odie, McGee, Campbell, they're all going to be kind of broken up and out of place here. So we're going to see now Colin is still on the racetrack as we speak into turn 1 and 2. Last down at lap 36, has about a 20 or a 38 second lead over that big group. Takes about between 30, the quickest we've seen a pit stop is 33 seconds. The longest sitting around 44 with a spin around. So we're going to see probably this time by Colin dive down. Nope, still going to stay out. Left by Matt Metler. I think I would have came down there because you're still out on your own and Chris Blasi is already pitted.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So now Colin's going to be at a great disadvantage here. I mean, he went from having a 38-second gap to now sitting around 37 seconds. So, I mean, if he comes down, I mean, he's still going to end up having to fight and stay on, or stay in that big pack.
15 to go. Kyle McDonough. Rowan Lloyd continue to lead this one. Chris Blasi continues to lead.
Yeah, so we're going to see Colin come down now. And now the race is on to see if he can get down into pit road, get his fuel, get off pit road, and get going fast enough to keep with the pack that's going to be hard charging, as Chris Melton will take over the lead without a doubt as they come down the backstretch here. And we're just going to have to basically see what happens for that of McDonough.
Well, as you say that, McDonough is coming down pit road.
You see that time just dropping and dropping and dropping. So here they come. Chase Greer is going to go flying by, and he's not going to be able to hang on to the back.
Absolutely not.
So now, I mean, if he would have had Matt Metler, I feel like he would have had at least a pusher to keep himself from ending up alone. And that might be, that might be a race win costing move there. And I mean, it's one of those things. He may have not known that Metler was coming down pit road.
I think Metler has ended his night. His fun meter has been pegged.
Yeah, I'm seeing that now, so.
$13 laps to go. Chase Greer and Brendan Honeycutt are control this field. But only knockouts. Here comes Blake Hensley.
Just want to take a peek here. We've got quite a mix of guys that are just kind of out on their own here. And, you know, that's just playing into the likes of Hensley, Taft, like this whole front group here. But personally, I like where this little group of three is. Just right now, you don't have to worry if these guys decide to start mixing it up and getting into each other before we get to the end of this thing. You know, you certainly will avoid any kind of trouble. But it's one of those things is, are we going to have trouble? Is it going to happen?
12 laps to go. Greer continues to lead over Honeycutt and Chris Melton. But here comes Andrew Tuft working that outside line.
Yeah, we got a 6-horse race right now. And I know it doesn't really matter in sim racing, but you got 3 Fords, 2 Chevys, 1 Toyota. And again, I know it doesn't really matter in sim racing, but sometimes you might see a bow tie and choose to go with the bow tie just because.
They call that cooperation.
Cooperation.
Yes.
As now we're seeing it kind of dwindle down to a single line field. And you know, they're pulling a gap. They've moved about a second and a half further ahead of Trevor McGee, Lee Campbell, and who's in Stephen Hines. So the 3 of them, they've kind of lost a touch a bit of time to this lead pack, but now we see them fully formed in a line. Just got to get moved up to each other, and they'll be hard to catch. As we only have 10 laps to go here, just over 26 miles to go to the end of this. Take a peek here. See, Colin McDonough's still out on his own. And that's one of those things that's just gotta feel heartbreaking. Rowan Lloyd, Greg McConey, Richard Odie, another small pack here. Just pretty much trying to run down the pack of McGee and Stephen Hines and Campbell. But they have now added Ed Sexton and Joel Brooks to that mix. So that's going to make that even more difficult for them. But this front pack is still too powerful for that smaller pack to make any headway. Brandon Honeycutt finds himself up 13 positions from where he started. Started 15th on the field here tonight. Started from the back. Chris Melton finds himself up 10 positions, up to the 6th place position. Started in the 16th spot. And then you've got Blake Hensley, who's been up here all night. Teft finds himself up 1 from 6th place. Dunaway finds himself up 5 from 9th. So really, biggest mover, Brandon Honeycutt, up 13 positions and in a prime catbird seat to pull off a win here. This group continues to pull away from that second pack, up to about a 10-second lead over Trevor McGee, Lee Campbell, Rowan Lloyd, or Lee Campbell, Edward Sexton, and Joe Brooks. Oh, and Brandon Honeycutt picks a bad time to start having some connection issues. Does blink out a little bit through 1 and 2, a little bit later here through 2. And I mean, he's going to get hooked. Caution's out. And that's going to change everything here. We'll go take a peek back at that. Yeah, and I mean, just having connectivity issues there. Yeah, you can see we can't even keep an eye on him through the entirety of this replay here. As that's how much he was in and out. So under caution here with just a handful of laps to go. Certainly going to put us in green flag or green white checkered territory here as we wind down everything. Just 6 laps to go here from Talladega.
Wow. 4 cautions on the night here.
Yeah, and
I mean,
you know, I mean, I saw it coming, but I did not think the connectivity issues would have been the issue there. But certainly, definitely threw a wrench in everything and caused some chaos.
chaos is just a small world.
Blake Hensley dives off into pit road here, and I'm not sure what that call is, but I mean, we see Lee Campbell, Honeycutt, Lloyd, McConey, Richard Odie. All of them came down as well, so it's going to be interesting here. While they go ahead and sort all of that out, we're going to go ahead and step aside for one final time, bring you the end of the race here for Talladega for the Racers Elite Super Speedway Series season opener. I'm Jordan Brockell, he's Alan Bergen, and this is Sim Racing Media. back here at the Racers Elite Super Speedway Series with just about 3 laps to go once we do go green here. And Alan, I don't think we're done. I mean, it's not quite a green-white checkered because we do have 3 laps, so it's going to be a green-green-white checkered. But
hey, look, it's going to be a green-white checkered in the natural sense.
exactly. And it's one of those things where I don't think we're done. Because we've got the entire field back to 13th on the lead lap, all going to be fighting and gunning for the win here. And it's always nice to pull off the win at the season start. So I'm going to see these guys really probably push the envelope here to get this done and going.
Well, the iRacing.com pace car pulls off on the pit road, and you got Chase Greer and Sean Dunaway with the button, and we are back to green flag racing with 3 laps to go. For through the Geico Research Zone, Barney's got the green flag in hand, and we are back to green flag racing.
Yeah, big gap there for the 95. Luckily for him, Sean Dunaway is going to dive in between there and fill that void. Because he was going to be certainly in trouble there as Teft would have pulled on him quickly. Everybody abandoned the bottom, though. So the 95, the 01, and the 98 are all going to fall here if they don't get some help. And, I mean, there goes Hensley squeezing, threading the needle there as we're 3 wide. Not quite a good 3 wide, but we're 3 wide right now for this front pack. You know, you got about 9 cars here within a shot. Brandon Honeycutt just off with Richard Odie, probably playing a little bit of a safe game there right now. We're going to come across. It'll be 2 laps to go here at Talladega.
2 laps to go. Blake Hensley, Chris Melton. Blake Hensley's got that 95 car. Chase Greer right behind him and just pushing him for all it's worth.
Yeah, and they're getting squirrely.
Oh no, this is getting good now.
Yeah, they certainly were doing everything in their way to possibly create something here. As we're going to get a hook. I told you we weren't done.
No.
Chase Greer flying through the air upside down. Engine expired. Kirby Wainscott looks like he got a little bit of it too, so. And I mean, that's just what happens here. He gets hooked. Unintentionally hooked. I mean, they just 2 cars, same spot. It's one of those things.
Oh, man.
And that's, I mean, that's one of those heartbreak feelings.
Wow.
Oh. And I mean, it's so sudden you don't even realize what's happening here. I mean, you're just racing, and then all of a sudden you're headed towards that ball.
Everything's happening so quick around you.
I mean, there's no time to even think of what's going on. And I wanted to see, it was Chris Melton that was a part of that. So we'll go and take a view from Chris Melton's point of view from the roof cam here. And just nothing he could do. And I mean, that's going to be a big game changer here. I mean, we're going to go to overtime, green-white checkered. The intensity is going to be even more picked up than it was. Doesn't look like Chase Greer's going to have the luck of a quick repairs. He's still on pit road. So as we run, Blake Hensley's going to have the lead when we come to green. He's going to have Sean Dunaway to his outside with Lee Campbell, Rowan Lloyd, Greg McConey in the top 5. Brandon Honeycutt, Richard Odie, and Colin McDonough in 6th, 7th, and 8th. We'll wait and see the race off of pit road here to see who makes it to the 10th, 11th, and 12th positions. Looks like Andrew Teft's going to be 10th. Trevor McGee's going to be 11th. Chris Melton's going to be your 12th place, and then rounding out that is going to be the 2 of Stephen Hines for 13th, and then it looks like Joel Brooks going to be back on the lead lap, possibly.
Hines got the lucky dog.
Hines got the lucky dog. So 13 cars still on the lead lap here, with just a green-white checkered to go, and it's going to be even more intense. And you know what they say? Every week they say, cautions breed cautions.
Cautions do breed cautions.
It's one of those things is you just got to get one lap around. One lap, see the white flag, and then it's racing back to the line. Because, they don't throw cautions here on iRacing when the white flag comes out. I've noticed that. I didn't notice it for a while.
Well, I can tell you right now, Blake Kinsley and Sean Dunaway, they're going to be pedal to the floor until they see the checkered flag or they see Jesus.
Yeah, just like that ARCA racer. He said, I'm just going to keep my foot down until I see God or the checkered flag. And that's a true racer's mindset. Just going to send it. And I don't fault him at all whatsoever. Just gonna send it.
Just send it.
Sometimes you just gotta send it.
That could be the next slogan, though.
What's that?
Just send it. That could be a Nike slogan.
Hey man, it's been a saying forever. Where are you at?
I know.
Just gonna send it. That was a whole meme, brother. But certainly, we're doubled up here. This is when the anxiety starts to get in. You've got to start trying to think of what to do, but you don't know what's going to happen behind you. So you've got like 12 or 13 different ideas at the same time, and you've got to just basically hope and pray that you pick the right one and you go with it.
Ready to go when we come back by. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out, and well, we're gonna go green, white, checkered.
Yeah, and it's only going to be even more crazy with time. So it's one of those things we're just going to have to basically stand and wait, see what happens, as we're going to see that 31 march his way towards that restart zone. Barney in tow again, waiting. You see him start waving that flag, and they're going to send it off into turn 1. And from there, it's just going to be you just got to hope you get there to the end.
Yeah, so we're back to green flag racing. There's a guy laying on the ground, Cam.
It's one of those cams that I really wish they do more often.
We at Sim Racing Media do not pay workman's comp, okay?
So we see Trevor McGee a little loose out there out back.
Rowan Lloyd out to the front. Greg McConey pushing Rowan Lloyd as they're getting ready to come down and get the white flag. Hopefully a caution don't come out, because whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, so Rowan Lloyd going to grab that white flag. We're going to race back to the checkered flag here. Is Lloyd's to the inside, getting a massive shove. Honeycutt's trying to shove through the 12 of Greg McConey.
Hold it straight, Rowan. Hold it straight.
Rowan's going to get another shot, but not quite enough. Greg McConey's getting a massive shove there from Brandon Honeycutt, and we go spiraling.
We're wrecking.
Go spiraling out back. Right now it's just Hensley. It's Hensley, McConey, and Rowan Lloyd. 1, 2, 3 right now, and it's going to be a drag race for these guys as they get down here. We're going to see, when does he make a jump? Does he make a jump? Does he stick behind and take second?
Here we go. Here we go.
It goes to the outside.
We get loose. And
Rowan Lloyd with the
yes.
Dude,
Yes.
Rowan Lloyd with the best driving I've seen. Absolutely phenomenal drive there. And I mean, he held on to it and blocked every which way that he needed to. And that's just a pure talented driver right there with that.
Oh my goodness.
So we're going to go here and try to get a look at what transpired way back when. As we'll take a peek back here. That's already wrecking. We'll just go ahead and do it the old school way. We'll just back this thing up and really just kind of take in what actually happened here. And we'll slow it down just a touch. I want to grab Brandon Honeycutt's car, and that's where we see a good bit of this. He's squarely already getting a push from McDonough. McDonough slides into Campbell. Campbell comes up and catches Honeycutt, and then, you know, people with nowhere to go whatsoever. C's parting a little bit there for the 49 of Chris Melton. He gets through that. And then the C's start to part for everyone else behind him. And I want to go on board with Chris Melton here. With that. Because truthfully, that was one of those... I've seen the C's part before, but watch this right here, Alan. You're going to see everything happen in front of him. I don't think he really pulled off the throttle until he went to the apron. He went to the apron and definitely pulled out of the throttle just a touch when looked like this possibly Richard Odie, I'm not really entirely sure, came down in front of him, but certainly a spectacular finish there. We're going to go ahead and sit here. We're going to see if we can grab some of our guys here.
Well, they all just kind of magically showed up.
And you know, that's what I love. I love when they do that. It makes...
When they make it effortless for us?
Right. So we'll go ahead. We're going to bring up our third place finisher, Greg McConey. It's the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Hey, man. So you were one of the lucky ones there. You didn't get pulled into that wreck that happened directly behind you, but you lost all your help, and you kind of were at the mercy of the two in front of you.
Yeah, I was, but I was working with, Honeycutt and I have worked together well in the past. So him and I were together, and then Rowan and I and Metler were all working together. So my goal was just to help one of those two win it. Until coming out of 4, then it's all hands.
Exactly.
All hands are free and you race. No, but I lost Honeycutt's help up on top there. Hate to see him get taken out in that wreck. But no, P3, that was fun. I enjoyed it. Glad I could help Rowan get that win. Blake did a heck of a job, man. That was a great race that he put on. He almost had him. I thought he was going to get him there at one point, but no.
Yeah. Certainly, just watching it back, if you get a chance, you can watch it back. I know you saw it out the front windshield, but it's a true masterpiece at what Rowan was able to do there and block Blake and keep it straight, which, we don't really see a ton of anymore, even in the real world, where someone blocking each and every lane goes very well.
Oh, for sure. I was helping Coach Rowan a little bit just from all the other super speedway racing I've done. I was kind of, guiding him as best that I could from back here, trying to spot for him, letting him know where Blake was going. Hey, the run's coming low. He's going to go high, go back low, kind of that stuff. But when I was able to push him to the lead there, he got a little lower than I was hoping he was going to go in that tri-oval and got down to that bottom line. So then at that point, it was just him and I side by side. I was like, all right, well, we'll run both lanes and, one of us will win it. And then when that wreck happened, it was all him from there on out.
Yeah,
It was
certainly.
A&W.
Certainly a good teammate there to spot from your car, and that's what it takes for these super speedways is teamwork. And speaking of teamwork, is there anyone that you need to shout out and thank for today's performance?
I'll thank the guys that I was racing with, Rowan, Metler, Honeycutt. Those guys are always fun to work together with. I got to thank Andrew for putting this on. He runs a great league here. I'm glad I'm able to jump in when I can to race with these guys, and these trucks at Talladega are one of my favorite combinations. They're so much fun. Thank everybody else that's here in this league. Thank my wife, Sydney. Thank the family that watches, and Boffman Excavating is one of my sponsors, McConey Crafting and Design, which is my wife's company. I got to thank you guys up in the booth. You guys do a great job. Can't wait to go back and watch it. That was fun. We'll see what happens from here on out, whatever races I'm able to make. But, starting off in P3, that's a solid finish.
Absolutely, and congrats on that P3, and maybe we'll be talking to you a little bit down the road, brother.
Appreciate it, Jordan.
All right, and then we're going to bring up our second place finisher, and I believe you, Alan, have him.
Blake, Alan, and Jordan in the booth, how's it going?
Hey, how are y'all?
Hey, look, man, almost got Rowan at the line, but after the big wreck, that was a three horse race essentially. Take us through that last lap and what you saw and felt from your perspective.
Well, the last lap, I knew my foot was not coming off the throttle no matter what. I thought so whenever I was in the truck, but I went back and looked at it. I don't know how we all didn't get caught up in that. I barely squeaked past it. But yeah, I was ready to give him all I had and then try to build a run there in the last little bit. And I probably should have done it a little bit sooner. I might could have got a little closer, been a little more even at the line. But yeah, it was gonna be hard to make that pass without wrecking him. Could have tried to do like I did and bob right, then bob left, but I didn't want to do it too much and take him out in the process.
Yeah, look, I told Jordan, I said these guys are gonna mash the gas and keep the foot to the floor until they see the checker flag or Jesus. So.
Yeah, you stole the quote out of my mouth. I was about to pull that one out of my pocket.
Nonetheless, before we get you out of here, who do you like to thank that helped get you here tonight?
Thank everybody that puts on this league here. I had a good time tonight. Good, fun, competitive race with everybody. Big shout out to my wife for allowing me the free time to get away and do this. And thank y'all for a good broadcast. And we look forward to the next go round.
All right, brother, man. We'll get you out here and let you celebrate that P2 finish with your teammates.
Y'all have a good one.
Hey guys, what's going on? Yeah, no, I can't believe that either. I'd have to thank Greg. He was yelling at me like, "Oh, go high, go low," But I was also it's a lot of multitasking, man. I can't believe it. I got to thank the 31 for not hooking me because I'm sure he had plenty of opportunities. This is my first win, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, a lot of fun. Well, yeah, that's a great question. I mean, the biggest thing for me for jumping a truck to Xfinity is trying to keep that Xfinity car as cool as possible because, those things get really hot really quick. They're just a little more loose. They're a little more work than the trucks. And they're always a handful. They've always have been. Uh, you know, I don't know how tire wear will be. I don't think it'll be that bad, but even with the Xfinity, it's a little tire wear and you're sliding around. But unfortunately, I won't make the race next week. I'll be in Talladega, so um, I'll be watching from afar. But yeah, absolutely. The Gen 4, I honestly, I really enjoy. I kind of think they're similar to the Xfinity cars. Maybe I'm just going crazy. And I want to put it past Andrew to put the 2008 track on. That thing's like a rodeo riding around on that. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm looking forward to it for sure. It's you get a lot of guys and a lot of different cars. It always makes for a good season. Yeah, absolutely. I gotta thank my father. He let me run his logo on the car. The rest of my family, I know they like watching. My friends, they tune in every now and then. Um, but yeah, they support me. So I think they're all I really need to thank. Oh, you know what? Thank you guys. Yes, you guys, it's a Friday night. You could be drinking Bush Light or something, but here you are, putting this on. So I really do appreciate that. I gotta appreciate Andrew too. He's putting this season on, so he definitely doesn't go unnoticed. I think he's great. I think he's doing something great. So I think that's all I got. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna try my best. Thank you guys. Have oh my god, take it easy.
Made it through everything, and it's one of those things where it's crazy that you had 13 cars there, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have three running for the race. But Chris Melton's going to come fourth, Stephen Hines in fifth, Richard Odie in sixth, Trevor McGee in seventh, Sean Dunaway, Andrew Teft in eighth and ninth, Brandon Honeycutt going to round out the top 10, Chris Blasi and Colin McDonough going to be 11th and 12th, Lee Campbell, Joel Brooks are going to be 13th and 14th, Edward Sexton, Chase Greer going to be 15th and 16th, Matt Metler and Kirby Wainscott going to be 17th and 18th. And rounding out the field, first one to the beer stand is going to be Hugh Escobar. And, certainly definitely almost had that wild moment there where he almost flew upside down. Not a fun time whatsoever. But, I mean, other than that, Alan, do you have any final thoughts?
This one was a fun one. It was, and shout out to Rowan, Hudson, Illinois' own Rowan Lloyd. He was down in my neck of the woods last night for his night job, and pulled off the win here tonight, and so happy for him.
Yeah, certainly awesome to see someone get their first win, and that about does it for us here in the booth. And, we'll be seeing you next week, same time, as well as you can catch me on Tuesdays for Racers Elite Trucks and Thursdays for the Racers Elite Next Gen, Racers Elite Xfinity on Wednesday. So we've got a big lineup for Racers Elite, as well as the Sunday Night NASCAR on Sunday, and then I believe Monday is the Trucks Xfinity, and then the Tuesday night Trucks as well.
Yep, and then tomorrow night we have the ECR Cup Series as they're deep into the playoffs as they go to Texas tomorrow night.
Yeah, and so hopefully you guys tune in. We thank you for sticking with us through this one, and as we wrap up, there's one thing to remember: as you walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.